Welcome back to Simple Steps for Healthier, More Balanced Living. I am your host and your certified health and life coach, Kathy Warnes, and this is episode 22. Food, the why. Eating for energy and other reasons. I'm going to talk about all of the reasons that I eat. Do you want to lose weight and have more energy without feeling deprived and frustrated? Keep it simple. Eat for energy. I have a 12-week coaching program called Eating for Energy that helps women lose weight and have more energy by teaching them how to have a healthy relationship with food and eating. I coach them into taking consistent, pleasurable action and to actually enjoy the process. Something we don't usually think of when we're trying to lose weight or go on some kind of diet. Click the link in the show notes and set up a free call with me to get your own simple plan, or go to my website, coachingcanhelp.com. This is the second episode in my series on food, and today we are covering why we eat. It's a simple question with a complicated answer at times. Why do we eat? We spent a lot of time on this in my coach training, and I'll admit I was pretty frustrated when we first started talking about several of the simple strategies and tools that I will teach you. I was thinking, okay, I'm paying thousands of dollars for this training for you to tell me this stuff? Yes, these simple strategies that I will introduce you to in this podcast really work. I have proof in my own life. There's proof in research and proof in the clients that I've worked with. Now, it takes time to develop habits around these tools and new mindsets around food. That's why coaching is critical. It's a must. So I can tell you the things, I can teach you the things, but when you work with me as your coach, I actually help you follow through with the things. We all know the best things to do, or we can Google it or find out, myself included. But we need coached to stay consistent, myself included. And we need help with slowly making lifestyle changes, myself included. It's exciting, though, because making lifestyle changes gets you results. Now, it's hard to make these changes without working with someone who knows how to help you take the right steps. And I outline this process of the how in early episodes of this podcast, but also in my free online workshop, which you must go out and grab if you haven't already. You can find the link in the show notes and on my website, coachingcanhelp.com. Okay, why do we eat? Let's start with me as an example. Why do I eat? Well, if I'm being honest, and no judgment here, that's number one, no judgment. The number one thing that my clients like about being in programs with me is there's no judgment. We're just getting curious. So if I'm honest and getting curious, answering the question, why do I eat? Well, there's a lot of answers. There's many reasons. Sometimes I eat because I'm bored. Sometimes I eat because I'm excited. Sometimes I eat because I'm happy. Sometimes I eat because I'm just hanging out with friends. Sometimes I eat because I'm sad. Sometimes I eat because I'm in transition. This was really interesting for me to find out about myself. So it's funny, when I'm doing a project or I'm working on something at home or at work, and then I finish it, before I get ready to start the next thing, or once I've finished it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to close this out by eating something or getting a snack before I start the next thing. I don't even know if I'm actually hungry half the time when I'm doing it. And I didn't even realize it's something I did until I started getting coached and using these tools. Half the time, I'm probably not hungry when I do it. Who knows? I don't know. It was just this habit that I have or tend to have. Like, oh, I'm in transition, so I'm going to eat. Or we eat because it's noon, and that's when our lunch is. Again, sometimes I'm not really eating because I'm hungry or because I need energy, but eating for these other reasons. No judgment, just get curious. So I'm eating because I'm with friends, or I'm eating because I'm watching TV. That's a big one for me, this habit. Like, it's unconscious, right? It's just like, oh, watching this show, putting something in my mouth. Or I'm eating because I'm craving something like sugar or caffeine. Some chemical, something in my body is telling me I'm craving something. And yes, finally, of course, sometimes I do also eat when I'm actually physically hungry and need some energy. But let's be honest. We eat for other reasons too. No judgment. Even if we never changed what we ate, but just sort of shaved it down to, I'm going to eat when I'm hungry and need energy, we would probably see some difference in our weight, our mood, our energy levels. But maybe it's just me that sometimes eats for other reasons than when I'm hungry. How about you? Basically, we can shift our mind into thinking, I eat for energy when my body is feeling low in physical energy or hungry or my stomach is growling. And that's a great start. Now, I need food. I love food, right? It's one of our basic needs for food, right? To nourish our body, to give us energy, to heal us. Oh my gosh, I love how healing to our body food can be, and nutrition. I love Dr. Greger at nutritionfacts.org. I'm going to say that again, nutritionfacts.org. It's a website all based in nutritional science, and it is so cool how food can help us heal so many of our diseases. And after all, no offense, fellow Americans, but it's our standard American diet that has us feeling crappy in the first place. Okay, but I'm fascinated by this, right? And how eating whole foods and healthy foods can literally change our health for the better. It's definitely changed mine. And now I'm not saying, oh, I eat in some like, quote, perfect way. Oh my gosh, that's not fun, not realistic, not balanced. But sticking to some of these new habits that I have around eating and new mindsets has really made a difference in my relationship with food. Now, this takes time. This takes patience. We don't want to freak our brain out. We're not trying for some perfection. And it takes coaching. So tell yourself, this takes time and I don't do this alone. So eating helps our bodies get energy and to get nourished. And again, if we can just peel back all the other reasons we eat and start to really tune into our body and eating for energy, then it makes it much easier to follow through with, weight loss goals if we have them, or nutrition goals, whatever they might be. Because we've stopped judging ourselves and getting all caught up in the emotional eating, and we're just literally tuning in to needing energy from food. So as a start, even just going back and starting to tune into your body, because for so long for me, I really wasn't tuning into what my physical body was telling me, right? Like, I'm actually hungry, and how does my body tell me that I'm actually hungry rather than, oh, I'm driving by Panera and that tells me I'm hungry because I want to go eat that bowl of soup and the bread and I want to go get it. Again, no judgment, but am I actually hungry? Is my stomach telling me I'm hungry? Or do I really just want that pleasure from the food? And again, no judgment. I love pleasure from food. It should be pleasurable to eat. We should enjoy it and not just be robots about it. But it also should be providing us with energy most of the time. And I also don't want to feel like I have to take a nap 20 minutes after I eat. I mean, if I want to, that's fine, no judgment. But am I getting energy from my food? Or is the food I'm eating actually taking my energy away? Am I going to food to nourish my body and to give my body energy? Or am I going to food for something else? So again, no judgment, but just being mindful when I'm going to food for other things, like because I'm bored or because I'm happy or because I'm sad. I'm not judging myself for eating when I'm bored or happy or sad or watching TV, but I'm just noticing it. Or if I'm saying, oh, I've been feeling bloated lately, or I think I might feel better if I lost a few pounds, then stepping back and tuning into why I eat can have a huge impact on that. Because if I'm recognizing, oh, I'm eating because I'm bored, or I just finished this task, or I'm seeking more pleasure, not because I'm hungry, but because I'm seeking pleasure. What else can I seek pleasure in that's not food that will satisfy that need for pleasure? So this is how we start to develop this healthier relationship to food. And having a healthier relationship to food helps us lose weight and keep it off. And tuning into why we eat is just one of the many tools that can help us get back to that basic, simple, healthy relationship to food. So the simple answer of why do we eat is we put food in our bodies to give us energy. We can heal our body with food. We can heal our mind and our mood with food. Eating as a result of a physical sensation that we're needing energy. And again, no judgment if I'm eating for pure pleasure and I'm not even hungry, which I notice that I do that. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasn't even hungry and now I'm just so full, right? I don't feel well. But not judging, just getting curious, like, oh, that is so interesting that I just kept eating and I wasn't hungry. I'm not actually having feelings of hunger. So what else can I do to satisfy that need? Our brain's going to seek something out. And most of the time, we're unaware that we're eating for other reasons than to get energy, right? Because most of our actions are habits, right? And habits are just things we do without thinking about it. So eating in transition is something that I do sometimes without thinking about it. Or just like pulling my van into Panera to eat. If I'm out shopping and something, I'll just like go there without thinking about it. And it's like, oh yeah, now I go to Panera and I get this. So I can always enjoy the pleasure from food. And I'm not talking about denying that, but just getting curious like, oh, am I actually hungry? And again, if we did nothing else but focused on why we're eating and just tuning in, like, oh, I'm going to eat when I'm needing energy, when I need physical energy. If I need something else and I'm not actually hungry, then I'm going to start to do these other things. Like, what other things bring me pleasure that I can do? So for me, that transition, like, oh, I just got done with this podcast, or I just got done working with that student, or I just got out of that meeting, or whatever. I need a transition before I go to the next thing, but I'm not actually hungry in my transition. Then, okay, I'm going to go out for a walk. Or my transition could be, I'm going to watch 20 minutes of Friends on Netflix. Or my transition could be whatever. I'm substituting what I used to use food to do. Now, we're not just easily going to start doing this all the time. Me just telling you this on the podcast is not going to help you make these changes. I'm sorry, but I just really doubt that it is, because you're not going to just go, oh, that makes sense, Kathy. Starting tomorrow, I'm only going to eat for energy. And if I'm not hungry physically, I'm going to now all of a sudden start sticking these other things in there. I mean, I hope that listening to this makes sense to you and it's valuable. And yes, I'm going to give you some ideas on how to do that. But honestly, that's why we need coaching. That's why I love so much my Eating for Energy program and coaching people through it, because I can help you set yourself up for success slowly over time. Again, just having the information is not going to change our mindsets and our actions. But here's some examples. Action steps around this new concept of eating for energy might be, hey, for the next 7 days, I'm going to notice when I'm eating 1 or 2 times, am I actually eating because of what my physical body is telling me? Or am I just eating because it's lunch or whatever? Am I hungry? And a lot of times when I work with women, they're like, I don't even know what tells me I'm hungry besides the clock. So we can end up so out of tune with our body and its physical signals because we're so used to eating for all these other reasons that we've kind of lost that connection. And no judgment. So it might just be coaching you through a couple weeks of even just realizing like, oh, I wasn't even aware of my transition eating. Like I really wasn't until I started stepping back and getting curious. So I can try all the diets out there or whatever. And believe me, I've done them all. Go back and listen to previous episodes. I can force myself, quote, force myself to eat some weird new way. But unless I uncover some of these other things about my eating and why I eat and when I eat and where I eat and how I eat, it's always going to seem like this, quote, diet that I'm just trying to push myself to do. It's hard and it doesn't last or work. It's so freeing, everyone, to adopt a healthier relationship to food, to go back and adopt these basic principles around food and to be coached in action around it. So what about you? For the next 7 days, tune in to why you are eating. Are you eating because you need energy, or are you eating for some other reason? And I can't stress this enough. No judgment. We're not trying to turn this into also some robotic, like I only literally eat when I'm hungry and I only eat, quote, healthy things or whatever. No, no, no. Don't try to flip it all around. That's not realistic. That's not fun. That's not balanced. And that's too far from your current lifestyle, likely. I'm talking about being more balanced and just recognizing, oh, here's a time that I'm eating for some other reason, like because I'm sad. What else could I do when I'm sad? Or the type of food that I'm grabbing when I'm sad, that comfort food, right, is likely going to make me feel even worse, but it's not, when I'm sad, I'm not necessarily going like, oh my gosh, if I could just get my hands on some broccoli. No, I'm going like, oh, I'm kind of sad. I'm going to eat my feelings through this chocolate chip ice cream. So as I'm recording this and preparing to record this, our youngest son is getting ready to leave for a summer internship in Florida. And I am so happy for him. And actually, Luke, you're editing this. Maybe you're listening to it. So there's all kinds of emotions right now, right? But I'm also sad. And I'm really tuning into like, oh, I just want to go eat my feelings, right? And eat chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream and get this sugar high from this ice cream, because literally that's what happens, right? I'll be comforted by that ice cream. Literally the sugar and all that will make me feel good. And it's also just something I've always done in my life. It's like that comfort food or ice cream, etc. So I'm not judging myself if when my son pulls out of the driveway, all I want to do is go eat 2 scoops of ice cream because at that moment, yeah, I'm not really eating for energy, right? But then I look at like, okay, how does that ice cream make me feel? Does it give me energy or does it take it away? 20 minutes after I eat it, am I going to actually feel better? Or am I actually going to have this like sugar high and then crash? So the next step as we look at like, oh, if I'm eating for energy, then what foods give me energy and what foods take my energy away? And that's another concept that's really life-changing, changing for myself and changing for my clients. It helps you choose foods that will serve you better. And I'll dive into this in a future episode when we talk more about the what we eat around food. But let's step into a little bit here because the why and what and when and how all go together. So if I go to Panera, we'll take that as an example. Those of you that know me know I love me some Panera. I love a chocolate chip bagel with cream cheese. Like I really, and when I go there, like put the bagel through twice, right? I want it like nice and crunchy, borderline burnt, and then I'm going to smear it with cream cheese. I love it. And I'm never going to like deny myself thinking like, oh, quote, that's so bad. Even though I know that it might not be the quote healthiest, but what I tune in to about it rather than judging if it's either healthy or not healthy is it going to give me sustained energy? How does my body react to eating that bagel and cream cheese? Now, back when I used to eat simple, sugars and all of that all the time, I don't even think I really noticed that I was in this just like sugar fog all the time. It was only once I started pulling away from some of that I realized how when I eat that bagel and cream cheese and then pair it with the sugary chai tea latte, 20 minutes later, I am like in a fog, right? And I have no energy, and I'm going to feel sluggish, and then I'm going to end up hungry again. So for me, I just get curious, like, okay, if I'm going to go have that bagel and cream cheese, and no judgment, if I want it, I'm going to eat it. But I also need to just tune into like, okay, in 20 minutes, that's probably, I'm going to feel sluggish. And if I have something that I need to do that day that I really don't need to feel sluggish, like I'm working or I'm speaking somewhere and I really need to have energy that day, then I'm probably not going to choose the bagel with cream cheese and the chai tea latte. I'm probably going to choose oatmeal with blueberries and a green smoothie, and I love the taste of that too. So also we need to tell your brain this isn't about, oh, the quote good, stuff that tastes good is not healthy. No, healthy stuff tastes good too. But just looking back at the energy, if I want to have good energy and something that tastes good, then yes, I'm going to make my oatmeal and I'm going to put some cocoa powder in it so that I get some chocolate, and I'm going to put some blueberries in it. And, I might even put like a little sliver of dark chocolate, and that tastes good to me. But also 20 to 30 minutes later, I'm going to still have energy. Also, when I look at what the bagel and the cream cheese and that sugar does to my body, and I really don't want to give my body that load to have to like produce all that insulin and go through all of that, then the oatmeal I know actually does my body better. But instead of choosing foods based on like, oh, I should or shouldn't, or this is what, someone tells me it does to my body, tune into your own body. I mean, maybe you eat the bagel and cream cheese and it doesn't take away your energy. That's fine too. But when we can tune in to how the foods make us physically feel, then it's going to be easier to be drawn towards those foods that give us energy. So if I'm eating for energy and I need energy, what foods are going to give me energy and what foods take it away? And so sometimes my clients will have an action step for several weeks on just noticing and keeping track of what foods give them energy and what take it away. not judging themselves emotionally like, oh, I'm, quote, good because I ate this oatmeal, or I'm, quote, bad because I ate this bagel. I'm not a good or bad person based on what I eat. But so getting rid of that like emotional stuff and just going, hey, did that pizza give me energy or take it away? Did that kale salad give me energy or take it away? So that's how we step back and get curious about what foods give us energy and what foods take it away. And if the why we are eating is to get energy, then that's a great first step. Okay. So why do we eat? For a lot of reasons. No judgment. We just get curious. If I'm eating for some other reason than to get physical energy, then what else can I do? If I'm needing pleasure, or if I'm sad and I need a little pick-me-up, maybe I could call a friend, maybe I could dance to a song, maybe I could go for a walk. Just noticing all the other reasons that we eat besides needing energy is a great first step to developing a healthier relationship with food. And again, I'm not saying turn yourself into some robot where it's just literally, I'm hungry and that's the only time I eat. That's way too far away from your norm. And it's wonderful to eat as a social experience and to have pleasure. But thinking about if the food gives us energy or if it takes it away. All right. If you're ready to get help around food and weight management, then I will get you set up in my Eating for Energy coaching program. If you want to see how any of this might look in your own life for your own weight loss goals or energy goals, go to my website, coachingcanhelp.com. All one word, coachingcanhelp.com. And you can sign up for a free call, sign up for my free workshop. Until next time, keep it simple, keep it real. And as I transition out of doing this podcast, I'm tuning in. I'm not actually hungry. I'm a little thirsty. So I'm going to go get some water, and then I'm going to celebrate transitioning out of recording this podcast by going out and taking a walk because it's beautiful right now. I'll catch you next time.